and Maryland, Tigrai, and American Voters ዝበሃል ኦርጋናይዜሽን ኣለና እዚ ኦርጋናይዜሽን እዚ ኣብ ሜሪላንድ ዝርከቡ ተወከልቲ ህዝቢ እናረኸበ ብዛዕባ ትግራይ ኣድቮኬት ዝገብር ብዛዕባ ትግራይ ዝበፅሕ ዘሎ ፀገም ዘርድእ መፍትሒ ክመፅእ ዝሓትት እዩ እዚ ጌርናዮ ዘለና ዋዕላ ኣብ ዝተፈላለዩ ብዛዕባ ትግራይ ዝነጥፉ ናይ ኣድቮኬሲ ኦርጋናይዜሽናት ከመይ ገይሮም ተሓባቢሮም ክሰርሑ ዘለዎ ንምርኣይ እዩ ብኻሊእ ድማ ትግራዋይ ውሕድ ቁፅሪ ዘለና ዘለዎ ውሕድ ቁፅሪ ከመይ ገይሩ እዩ ተኣሽሙ ፈጥር ዝኽእል ኢምፓክት ፈጥር ዝኽእል ኣይደለ ኢምፓክት ትግርኛ ታታይትል ናይታ ዋዕላና ኢምፓክት ትግራይ እያ ትብልሞ ተጋሩ ታውሕድ ቁፅሮም ተሓባቢሮም ተሰማሚዖም እቲ ንትግራይ ዝግበር ኣድቮኬሲ ለበዋ ከመይ ገይሮም ከፀዕፅፍዎም ክሕይድዎም ከም ዝኽእሉ ንምዝራብ ኢና
So I'll try to be informative as much as I can, also keeping in mind that it's a sensitive topic. So we're going to start with the overview. Tigray is the northernmost region of the second most populous country of Africa, as we know, and the total population stands about 7.1 million based on the last census. And the region is geopolitically vital in the Horn of Africa, particularly for trade. And about 95.6% of Tigrayans practice Orthodox Christianity, and about 4% practice Islam. And Christianity started when Menelik I, son of Queen Sheba and King Solomon of Israel, was the first emperor of the Solomonic dynasty, which started in Tigray. It is reported that he was the one who took the Ark of the Covenant, and it's currently staying hidden in the St. Mary Zion Church in Aksum. Tigray is known for plenty of things, as we all know. I don't need to lecture you guys. And then Islam first started, the first mosque actually in Africa was in Tigray, and Al-Nagashi. And it was established in Wakaru. King Najashi, also known as Amha, is urban Muslims from Mecca, and they were seeking refuge from the Qurasha persecution by traveling to Aksum, which was at the time a Christian kingdom, and in Islamic history, this journey is known as the first Hijra. So let's look at the rich part of how we got here. Tigray is known as the birthplace of Ethiopian civilization. The history of Tigray goes as far as 980 BC, starting with the Damat Kingdom. The kingdom's located in modern-day Tigray and part of Eritrea. From 980 BC to 400 BC, Yaha served as the capital of Damat, and is home for a great temple of Yaha. Aksum was one of the most developed culture of Asian Africa, and the Aksumite Empire was one of the four most powerful kingdom of the ancient world. The empire covered a section of Eritrea, northern Ethiopia, Sudan, Yemen, and Saudi Arabia. Aksum became a key route between the Roman Empire and ancient India, reaching the highest peak in the 3rd century. The city developed its own currency and written language, which is Ge'ez. And once King Azra came into power, the town was converted to Christianity. During the scramble of Africa, as we know, colonization and imperialism in the 19th century, Ethiopia was one of the nations that had to defend the sovereignty against colonizer. In March 1896, the Battle of Adwa took place in Tigray, and it became the most prominent battle in the history of Africa, and became a symbol of anti-colonial struggles as Ethiopians were victorious under leadership of Tigray. such as Abdullah Banega. And in 1943, that's when the first Wayane Revolution started, under the rule of Amhara Shua Emperor Haile Selassie. Tigrayans were really marginalized, and they were discriminated against, economically disempowered. I heard stories from my grandparents how they weren't allowed to speak Tigrinya in schools, and then that's when the revolution started. But Ethiopian central government and British fighter jets, they were bombing them. It was a lot harder. And then the second Wayane Revolution started in 1974. The Popular Revolution resulted in the rise of the Marxist military dictatorship led by Mengistu Haile Mariam. This sparked the second wave, and the Civil War ended in 1991. My own father was part of the revolution. And once it ended, it resulted in independent Eritrea and a new government formed under the EPDRF party, which included TPLF. EPDRF ruled the country until 2018. Now, Tigray's history heritage is being destroyed, as we know. So we know our past, and let's see what the present looks like. There's a common misconception that the war started with the election, but it actually started with the Kira Oromo movement in as far as 2014, but the Oromo youth movement actually started early on. In 2014, ethnic Oromo youth began demonstrating against the EPRDF, the ruling political party since 1991, demanding more political representation, fair election, and the elimination of land grab and violence for suppression of political dissidents. The mass uprising were met with harsh government responses, led to the resignation of Prime Minister Haile Mariam in 2018. And then Abiy Ahmed Ali, the third chairman of the EPRDF and leader of the Oromo Democratic Party, APDO, was selected by fellow coalition to lead the country's transitional government until scheduled election in 2020. Prime Minister Ahmed quickly became renowned for his swift and drastic socio-political reforms. He made a lot of promises to make the country better. As part of his reform agenda, Prime Minister Ahmed promised to normalize relations with Eritrea. And as we know, Ethiopia and Eritrea have had a hostile relationship since the 1998 Biden War. It was a brutal 2-year border war with nearly 100,000 casualties, and a lot of people who fought during the Derg War also fought during this time. So this is a second round for Tigray. And it's a sensitive topic, obviously, for Prime Minister to make a peace deal with Eritrea after a lot is caused for Tigray. In a verbal peace treaty, Prime Minister Ahmed promised to return disputed territories on the Tigray-Eritrea border without consulting or including Tigrayan regional government leaders. Following that, there were several assassinations that took place, and this increased further uprising amongst the ongoing democratic struggles in Oromia. TPLF, the leading party of Tigray, did not agree with After that, in 2019, Prime Minister Ahmed dissolved the EPRDF coalition and formed the Prosperity Party. By 2020, all regions in Ethiopia except for Tigray had president appointed by the Prime Minister. TPLF, the leading party of Tigray, did not agree with the Prosperity Party reform methodology and felt like it steered from freedom and democracy. Prime Minister Ahmed responded to TPLF's refusal to join the Prosperity Party by further sidelining TPLF and arresting government officials, which he found recent law and order operations against TPLF, which was the actual war against Tigray and Tigray. On The election for 2020 was postponed. Abiy Ahmed used the excuse of COVID-19. However, TPLF called this unconstitutional and attempt to extend his power illegally. On November 4th, 2020, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed declared a law and order and started arresting TPLF officials. Been significant atrocities amounting to war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide have been committed against the people of Tigray. Weaponized sexual and gender-based violence, weaponized hunger, massacres, ethnic cleansing, internment camps, torture, forced displacement, wholesale destruction, looting of property and public infrastructure, communications blackout, basic service closed off, electricity, and banking. Since November 2020, approximately 500,000 Tigrayans have died. Hospitals have been forced to close due to their destruction by invading forces and the lack of supplies, medicines, equipment due to the siege, leading to more Tigrayans dying preventable death. This is done both by the Ethiopian government and the Eritrean government. 285 trucks a day must enter Tigray, accompanied by fuel supplies to distribute aid to communities in need. Since April 2022, per the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, 6,105 trucks, which is 22 days worth, have reached Tigray's capital city from Mekelle without the necessary fuel to distribute it. To address the humanitarian crisis and man-made famine in Tigray, at least 285 trucks a day must enter Tigray. Over 70,000 Tigrays have fled to neighboring Sudan, with over 2 million internally displaced. Ethiopian, Eritrean, and Amhara region forces have subjected hundreds and thousands of Tigrayans to mass-scale atrocities. These have included weaponized sexual and gender-based violence, weaponized hunger massacre. Tigray remains without essential service, still cut off from electricity, bank, telecommunication services. 900,000 plus are in famine-like conditions, with over 2 million on the brink of famine. 5.2 million are in need of emergency humanitarian aid, with 1 out of 3 Tigrayan children under the age of 5 being actually malnourished. It's estimated that 120,000 Tigrayans have been raped. They're perpetrators using genocidal rhetoric, such as aiming to cleanse the bloodline or using hot rod to damage their wombs so as to maim. Many of them are unable to give birth in the future. In March 2022, warring parties agreed to give peace. Almost 2 years later, we're back at a full scale. March 2022, the warring parties agreed to give peace a chance by declaring a humanitarian truce. Since this moment, the Ethiopian government has taken steps to prepare for another phase of war in the background. 5 months later, the Ethiopian government has broken the humanitarian truce, which has led to the re-emergence of a full-scale war. Mass arrests are once again happening solely on the basis of identity. Airstrikes have once again began, leading a casualty of Tigrayan civilians, mostly the elderly, women, and children. Tigrayans are dying daily due to the ongoing siege on the region. Now, I know everything I said is sad and depressing, and we're all upset, but we're looking ahead in the future, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. This is the third round. Like Fasal was saying, that Tigray's neck, the bootstraps are in Tigray's, I'm not gonna do it, but yeah. And our long term is economic development, humanitarian support to all small businesses so we can help our people build Tigray back up and be the place that we all want to visit and see. Thank you.
Thank you, Samara. Thank you for the presentation. Now, everyone. My name is Saro Nalamsakit. I first want to say thank you for having me here today, and also thank all of you for being the first, taking the first step to build a community. So I'll be talking about building the bridge within our community. So I decided to start off by explaining the organization that I'm a part of, that I'm representing today, which is Tigrai Professional Network. I'm the Personal and Professional Development Chair at TPN, and I wanted to show some of our members as well, so you could get an idea of who we are, and when you see us, we network and get to know one another as we're trying to build the bridge with the older community and the younger community. So I'm gonna just start off by explaining who we are. So TPN is a network of professionals, educators, leaders, and dedicated community members aspiring to make a positive impact on the growth and development of young Tigrayans through North America. So we're located across the states, and we're getting bigger and bigger. We had an event called Wa'ala Tigrai. It was in Chicago, if you all were familiar with it. So we're trying to expand on our professionals. So kind of like, I'll explain a little bit of our pillars. Our pillars are social action and civic engagement, personal and development, Deka Tigrai networking, and mentorship. So these pillars, I'm sure, kind of may pertain to many of your organizations, which can be one way of us building the bridge within your organization and our organization. And so next I'm just going to explain the impact made within the community so you all can know what we have done, and it may be something that you all have done and something that we can work to ensure that we build the bridge and do something together instead of doing it separately. So here are some pictures from events that we've had. So recently, our summer Tigrinya class just ended. So we had Tigrinya classes with kids, and we worked with another organization that helped organize, or that helped us really build this passion of ours. We want to ensure that our youth are getting educated in their culture and their language and who they are, their identity. It's very valuable, especially during this time. We need to be as strong as possible, and the way that we get strong is by teaching our young ones early. So we worked with another organization where we built that bridge, made that connection to ensure that our kids learn early. So that was something we just finished. It was in Rockville, Maryland. So we had kids from different areas in the DMV that came every Saturday in person to have this Tigrinya class, and we also had it virtually. And another good thing is we connected with different communities outside of just the DMV to host like the history lessons, and we had prominent members of our community educate our children. So it was really a good time. As you can see, the picture on the top right corner is the classroom that they were in. And so yeah, it was good for the kids to get to know each other, and once they know each other at an early age, we build that relationship and they strengthen the community that we envision for ourselves. And we have another picture on the bottom. It was an event where we were kind of broadcasting influential Tagaru women of our past and of our present day. So we had members of the DMV come out, and we had pictures of prominent Tagaru women, so we can really get to know who they are and value them. So that was another event. We had a poster making event. You could see in the garage that we were in at Meskin's house. and we were making posters for one of our protests that we had coming up. And then we also just had an event where we can come as a community and get to know one another. It was our Hijra and Chill event. So I'm just saying all of this just so you all know who we are, and so that if we have something in common, we can work together. So I was talking to Safa, and he had mentioned that I didn't know there was a Tigrayan American voters organization. I had no clue of that, but TPN actually did have an event where we were trying to work with our older community on how to vote and how to register how to vote, and that was already an event, or that is something that they are working on doing. And so getting to know what everyone does in the community, so that we don't duplicate the same things, really will help. So the next question is, how can we build bridges within our community? And it sounds so easy, but it's not. So bridges, what are they? It's what connects us, what helps us understand each other's challenges, allows us to try to figure out how can we better help each other. And that's the overall thing that we wanted. How can we better help ourselves? How can we better help our kids and our community in general? Sometimes maybe we don't know Tigrinya that well. I can speak for myself, but we can you all can teach us and tell us what you know, and really that's how we're going to succeed. That's how we're going to be the Tigray that we wanted, that give our children what they need, essentially. So also limit efforts being duplicated. This was mentioned previously. So if you're having an event and I'm having that same event, why not partner? Why not, do something together? I know we do things differently in different organizations, but it doesn't mean that it should stop us from seeing how we can work together as one group. We all have the same wants for us to be a community where we can build ourselves, build our knowledge, and ensure that we're all getting educated, our kids are getting educated, we're getting involved in our community, we're not getting lost. That is the overall thing that we want. So in order to do that, we have to work together. So when we do get that opportunity to go back to Tigray, the kids already know who they are. They already know their language. It's easy. Piece of cake. They know their identity. So that's the overall message, working with our youth at early ages to foster those relationships. So yes. And I just wanted to leave you all with one quote. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. So it takes a village to do what we would like. So let's all work together and be united as one, and do great things.
ካብዚ ቀፂለ ሓደ ክላሪፊኬሽን ናዚ ዲስከሽን ናዚ ቋንቋ ትግርኛ እዩ ኣይነውቶም ፕሬዘንተራት ምስቱ ዘዳለዎ ሳብጀክት ማተር ፕላስ ከዓ ሳሮንን ሳምራት ከዓ ገና ትግርኛ እናተምሃራ ስለዘለዋ they have to present in English ግን ብዓብዩ ትግርኛ ምዃኑ ትፈልጡ ይደሊ ንክልቲአን ሕቶተሊ ኩል ጥራሕ بإنجليزية يقول سامرا ሳምራ ትግርኛውን ቆሮት ሰሚያ ስለዚህ we can challenge her استرافا ግን ትግርኛ ዘይኽእል ሰብ ጥራሕ እንተዘይኮይኑ ብትግርኛ ከምኡ ዝኾነ ዲስከሽንና ዘኻኽፈኩም ይደሊ ካብኡ ቀፂሉ ሕቶ ጥራሕ ላብ መድረኽ ዘይኮነስ እና ደቂ ሜሪላንድ ኣኼባ እዩ እዚ ደቂ ሜሪላንድ ኣብ ህዝብና ተኣውጁ ዘሎ ኩናት ኣብ ህዝብና ዘሎ ዕፅዋ ዝስበረሉ መንገዲ خندال كذي نتحاور إلى زنا مو حساباته كم تيجينا نتبذل في الدور المونجر كمان فينا expect يقدر أنا إحنا نحاول يكون مقدر نحسين for relations committee لهم سبات دي أتون الراس كنكرو لنا إلى الجميع كان أي House of Representatives the second most powerful person ወደ ሜሪላንድ ስለዚህ ልኡውን ንህዝብና ፀገም እናፋለጥና ህዝብና ካብ ሽግር ዝወፅሉ መንገዲ ኢንፍሉዌንስ ክገብሩ ክንፅዕር ኣለና ኢና ቅድሚ እዚ ማሕበር እዚ ብውልቅና ደብዳቤታት ንፅሕፍ ነርና ገለ ንውግዕ ኢግኖር እዮም ንገብሩና ነይሮም እዚ ማሕበር እዚ ካብ ንጅምር ንድሓር ግን ፀሓፍናሉ ደብዳቤ መልሲ ይሁና እዩ ክንረኽበኩም ኣለና ኢልና ክንገብር ተለና ክንጥይቕ ተለና ዓይኖ ህዝቡን ከም ተሰፋ ዝነበሩ ዝነበረ ይግኖና ግላዕ ፍቱን እዩ ግን ዝረኸብናዮም ግን ቁፅርና ሪኦም ዝሰዱና ሰብ ስታፈራት እዮም ዝሰዱና ቀሊል ነገር ኣይኮነ ንሱ ምስኣቶም ዝገብሮ ዲስከሽናት ፅቡቕ እዩ ቁፅርና እንድሕር በዚሑ ተሰፋ ዝብሎ ዝነበረ ካብ ቁፅርና ላዕሊ ምንቅስቃሳት ንገብር እንድሕር ኮይና ግን እዞም ሰባት እዚኣቶም ኢግኖር ከይገብሩና ክንገብር ለኽእል ዕድል እኒና እዩ እሱ ጥራሕ ዘይኮነ ተናሰ እውን ንኣና ላይ ክድግፉና ይኽእሉ እዮም ግን ፀላእትና ካብኣቶም ድጋፍ ከይብኒ እውን ንገብረሉ ዕድላት እኒና ኢና እዚ ጉዳይ እዚ ኣብዚ ኮይና ዲስከስ ክንገብረሉ ዓብዪ ተስፋ ይገብር ታንኪዩ ስለዚ I think ዕድል ምሃብ ክንጀምር ኢና
ናይ ቮቲንግ ክስማዕ ኣኪቦ ይኾኑ በኣና ግን ስቴት ኦፍ ሜሪላንድ ሒዝካዮ ማንተጎመር የሎ ፕሪንስ ጆርጅ ካውንቲ የሎ ኣብ ሜሪላንድ ፍሬደሪክ ካውንቲ የሎ ካብቲ ኩሉ ካብቲ ዘለናዮ ተወሰኑ ሰባት እቶም ግራስሩት ዝበልካዮ ንሳቶም ይምረፁ እሞ ንዓእቶም ክርከቡ እቱ ናይቲ ሰብ ሊስት ምስኡ ኣታች ተገይሩ ምስቲ ለተር ተገይሩ ግን እቶም ክልተ እቶም ሰባት ከመይ ገይሮም ከም ዘብልዎ ቮትና እንድሕር ትደልዩ ኮንኩ ክትሰምዑና ኣለኹም what do you do for me if you want to get my vote what do you do for me ካብኡ ክትልኦም ኣለካ
ምስና ክስማዕ ንርኢ ኮይኑ ናይ ፋይናንስ ሓይሊ እውን ከልወና በዚ ብኸመይ ሜምበርሽፕ ኮንትሪቢሽን ከም ዘለዎ ገይሩ ኦርጋናይዝ ኮይኑ ዘሎ ወይስ ገና ፕሮሰስ ድዩ ምክንያቱም ቅድሚ ናብ ኣክሽን ምእታውና ነቲ ማሕበር ምጥንቓሪ ዝሓሸዝኮ ከመይ ናሕነ ብሎ ፋይናንስ ጠሚና ምክንያቱም ሓገዙን ክደሊና ብዙሕ ዘድሊና ነገራት
ኣብ ሜሪላንድ maybe 2,000 ዝኣክል ትግራዋይ ክህሊ ይኽእል ግን ቱ ኣውትሪችና ኣብ መኒ ኢልና ኣብ ተወሰነ ጥራሕ then what we have to do as an individual ዘለትና ኮንታክት ናብ ሓደ ዳታ ክእክብ ዝኽእል ሓይሊ ነምፃእ እዩ then through that data ቴክስት ይኹን ቴሌፎን ይኹን ኢሜይል ይኹን ብተፈላለየ መንገዲ እናተራኸብካ ያው ነቱ ንደልዮ ቦር ምክንያቱም ብበዛሕና ቁፅሪ ኢና እቲ ሕቶና ድማ ክስማዕ ንኽእል
ንሕና ብትግራይ ጥራይ ኣይኮንናን ክውሰን ዝግበአና ካብ ትግራይ ወፃኢ ንዓብዪ ዝቃወሙ ኦሮሞ ኣለዉ ኣምሓሮ ኣለዉ ጉራጌ ኣለዉ ዝተፈላለዩ ኢትዮጵያውያን ናይ ሕጂ ዓብዪ ኣሰራርሓ ዘይድግፉ ብናይ ትግራይ ዝግፍእ ዘሎ ጂኖሳይድ ስፍር ዘይገብሩ ኣሎ ንኣቶምን ክንስሕቦም ኣለና ክንዓፎም ኣለና
ትራካት ዝኣትማ ቁፅሪ እንታይ ንብል እዞም ዩናይትድ ኔሽን እኮ ከምዚ ቁፅሪ ኤርትራ ግን ቆፅሩ ዘሎ ገለ ይብል at the same time كنت زي مليون كنت عارفين على لنا إحنا نحن نزول وربيت نقدر واي عادونا يبلنا عملنا هزنا نابلنا كنا يتمسح دورنا كم سوات دورنا عزيز كأني أبي كم سحرنا نجينا أنا نقول
إيه بالنا محرم حبرنا ماكسيمم عبارات تطريح على كاب إسرائيل على العبارة دون effectively صار طبعا إسرائيل they make themselves their presence felt at كل وقت أو يمزون الوقع بخيوات تغيروا حزب ستيت ديبارتمنت أخيوات وإحنا نحن نصبوا لنا دعم صبوا لنا ديسنت وإنا أنا أبروش الجو نساتو ومتى إسرائيل شو عمت زمروا زماري يوم نادقاكم they know this وناتو نساتو دقاكم كان تلكايو دقاكم كا تزارو كا حسوت حق مسلمي كما يمزلوا مسات so when بزحتنا أي تاسمه يجبرنا constraint يجبرنا ما من أصلا constraint يجبرنا بزحت نجبرنا خلينا more importantly نحنا multiplier effect نجبرنا خلينا تانا multiplier effect مثال ناي دك أنستيو محبرات اللو زعل ناي جوش محبر اللو ناي دك أنستيو محبرات لمن تهم دك أنستيو عناصر السبت من الكورة 120 شيء ريب تفانا الاستروا that comes to the sensibilities نايتن دك أنستيو sensibilities think of the خدمة so if we go there with that messaging بس هاتن على أسك فترة مش جوز كنا نتكلم نحنا كم تو هولوكوست experience اللهم ساتم نحناون ناي genocide experience هذا شير نقبل
نحن سأنصرح مدارة هالي ناقص combine the war right now but what do we do here as a matter of we like to divide it more we like to do status and young people Sarah thank you so much for that advice so maybe she's 23-24 years old girl she's advising me over 50 years old so let's work together to generation then I challenge I DMB تجارون تاي challenge نا DC Maryland برتينا كفح مهان spread مهان بتعم كفح مهان حز خمسة Maryland بس كده كبيك على مالتي معناته بزح كفح سلوا فانا مع county تاسلا سلازي how do we كم يجرنا زي شريك كنقوم كم يجرنا ابنا community نعرف we need to work on that so we need their help you know, by creating data, by community reach out, or you know, create sub-committees or sub-organization in every council and every cities. That would help us to know. كندم أنا نخدم كلنا أدلاي مسؤول تقبل لهم نخدم لس مالتي. So the other very important thing is work with other nationalities in Ethiopia and other countries as well. This is important. ስለዚህ ከማና ውጽአት ለሆኑ ህዝብ ኢትዮጵያ ማዕተለው ስለዚህ ምዚአቶም ነሐ እዚ የድሊና ስለድሊና we have to reach out
ሰላቲ ነውሕድ ኢለ አሰደ ኢለ አምሓሩ ሰላእትና ይኮኑን ትክክል አይኮኑን ካብኡ ሓሊፉ ግን ኤሊት አምሓራ ፋኖ ሚሊሻ አምሓራ ፈታዊ ኢለ ክዛረብ አለ it is unacceptable ፍጹም ስለዚህ ሰላይ ነብዘ ነገር ግን let's be focused
ዋና ግን አብዚያ ሜሪላንድ ቮተርስ ለላ ዓላማ ያው ፕላን ተረዳልናለና ሁሉ ኦርጋናይዜሽን ሜሪላንድ ነበር እና ሜሪላንድ ቮተሪ ሪጋርድለስ እና ኢንስቲዮ ኮሚኒቲ ስራሕ ይሰራ ስታይል ነገሩን ይውል እና ለሆነ ኮይኑ በሓደ ኮይና እዚኦም ሎሚ ከስከምና አምነስቶም ሞርደረቱ ያው ዚቲ ኢንፎርሜሽን ከሊና አዳዚያ መስራሕ ያለ
My name is Sado Nalamseged. I'm from Tacoma Park, Maryland. With the latest news of what's been going on in Tigray with the bombing of Maqada and the kindergarten that's been airstriked, it's very disheartening. It's very tragic, horrific. I cannot believe that kids are being affected still to this day. I just wish that something could change. I wish something can happen. I wish that the parties involved can just stop. But unfortunately, this is what we're living. And the message that I want to send to, the people of Tigray is Adjuhum. We've passed so many things, and we will pass this bad time. As long as we stick together and know ourselves, know our identity, that's as strong as we'll get. And to teach our kids and, to continue is what we have left of us. And that's what we should keep, to keep, teaching people, teaching our kids. So it's okay. This will be over. And, Tigray will be free. To the kids that are joining TDF in Tigray, I'm sorry that you had to give up your life and stop your life to be a part of something that you did not plan for. But we thank you here in the diaspora. We thank you for the work that you've committed your life, stopping everything, and being away from your family can be painful. But we thank you. We appreciate you, we love you, and we cherish and pray for you all the time.
My name is Samra Gabasarkan. I'm originally from California, but I'm living in DC currently. I'm here to show my support for my people in Tigray and TDF. What we're hearing is really heartbreaking, and especially for kids and women and elderly. We're hurting, we're with you. I want to say my dad is there. I haven't seen him in 2 years. Dad, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everyone there. I'm proud to be part of Tigray. I'm proud to be part of TDF. I just want to say we are supporting you from all the way here, and everybody's here standing by your side. Thank you. Usually during war, kids are bystanders. They don't know anything. For Abiy Ahmed to bomb kindergartens, these are children, innocent children who needed to wake up in the morning and just go to school. During a war that's happening and famine, they nonstop go into school to get education so that they can continue to improve Tigray. This is an attack on our future. Kids are our future, and Abiy Ahmed knows that, and that's why he is bombing kindergartens, because he wants to stop the future from changing the world. And I'm absolutely against it. And Abiy Ahmed is a dictator. He doesn't deserve to win a Nobel Peace Prize because he is not creating peace at all.
Montgomery County College is ማስተምረው ባለው በትግራይ ወጣቶች ህዝቦች ህፃናቶች የሚደረገው የክራይም በጣም አሳስቦኝና አሳዝኖኝ በዛ ምክንያት ነው አንዳንድ ነገሮችን በኮሚቴ መስራት የጀመርኩት። ያንን ለማስቆም የሚደረገውን ጥረት እየሞከርኩ ነው። ወደ ሰላም እንዲመጣና ህዝቡ ከመለያየት ከመጨፋጨፍ ከመገዳደል እንዲቆም እንደ ህዝብ እንደ ሰው ደግሞ መብቱ እንዲጠበቅለት እሱን በሚመለከት ለመስራት ነው አንዱ መጣጣር ያለው።
ኢምፓክት ትግራይ ዝብል ዋዕላት ነካይድ ዘለና ኣብ ትግራይ ዝበፅሕ ዘሎ መስካሕካሒ ገበናት እና ኣዘክርናን ናሓዘናን እዩ። እዚ ዲክታተር አብይ ዝገብሮ ዘሎ አረመናዊ ዝኾነ ተግባር ቀስና ክሰብረና ከጉንባሕና ከድምነና ኢሉ ዝገብሮ እዩ። ግን እዚ ቀስና ተሲሩ ደኒና ተጎንድሕና በኺና ኣይኮናን እቲ ናቱ ዝሓስቦ ክነሳኻእ ዘለና የግዳስ በቲ ሓዘን ተይተንበርክኽና ሓሪና ዝግበአና ኩሉ ጌርና ናይዞም ጨካናት ግብኣተ መሬት ዝቐርበሉ ኢና ክንቃለስ ዘለና። ኣብ ትግራይ ዘለው መሓዙትና ኣሕዋትና ቦታትና ንሳልሳይ ግዜ ኣብ ዝጠንከረን ዝፃፅዐን ፈተና ኮይኖም ዝቃለሱ ዘለዉ የቁንኡና ዘለና ኩሉ ክንሕግዞም ድማ የተባብዑና ትግራይ ከም ትስዕር ዝጠራጠር ሰብ የለን ትግራይ ከም ትስዕር ፍሉጥ እዩ ግን ትግራይ ክትስዕር ተኮይና ግን ትዘድሊ ኩሉ ክግበር ኣለዎ ኣብ ማኸት ክትሳተፍ ተዓዲምካ ማኸት ክትሳተፍ ብገንዘብካ ክትሕግዝ ተልዩካ ብገንዘብ ትሕግዝ ብሂወቱ ክሕግዝ ዘይስስዕ ሰብ ዘለዋ ትግራይ ብገንዘብናን ብጉልበትናን ብዓቕምናን ኩሉ ክንሳተፍ ንድሕሪት ክንብል የብልናን ትግራይ ትስዕር ዝቕፅል ዋዕላና ፕሮባብሊ ኣብ ትግራይ ንገብሮ ንኸውን ካብ ፀገም እዚ ከም ንወፅእ ግን ሓደን ክልተን የብሉን ዝጠራጠር ትግራዋይ እውን የለን ንድሕሪት ዝብል ትግራዋይ እውን የለን ኣብ ቃልሲ ዘለኹም እዚ መስዋዕቲ ትኸፍሉ ዘለኹም ኣብ ጎንኹም ከም ዘለና ኣድላይ ዝኾነ ሓገዝ ኣድላይ ዝኾነ ድጋፍ ከም ንገብር መልእኽትና ይብፅሕኩም የቐኒልና ትግራይ ትስዕር